It was Cain's surly response to the Almighty after the murder of Abel. Am I my brother's keeper? A great and complicated question then and now. I think in the grand sense, the answer is always supposed to be yes. But in real life, Libya right now, the international community and Canada as part of it, is having real problems facing up to that question when they're not avoiding it altogether. In starkest terms, when a 4-decade dictator of noticeably little conscience, whose sanity is a mirage and who is unacquainted with mercy, starts to fire on his own citizens, calls in mercenaries or gunships to disperse Libyan protesters, does the UN, the international community, NATO, have a responsibility to protect those being shot at by their own government? Are they their brother's keeper? Well, actually and explicitly, they are. It's an obligation they willingly placed on themselves half a decade ago. The UN, and Canada in particular, brought forth a doctrine called the responsibility to protect, which outlined a responsibility, a duty, to intervene in the affairs of any state that had turned horrendously against its own citizens. Libya, under Gaddafi, fits that so perfectly, R2P could have been written with today's headlines in mind. I emphasize Canada was very much the leading voice or author of this wonderfully grand concept, the responsibility to protect, embodied it in the machinery and action of the United Nations. Well, that being the case, why are we not hearing from the Liberals and the Conservatives that Libya is precisely a case for the doctrine to apply? But that, you see, would lead to more questions, details of response, and hard choices. Which country's jets would strafe the Libyan capital? How much intervention would be enough? Would Canada's armed forces be doing some of the shooting? If NATO or the UN, urged by Canada, were to establish a no-fly zone, what would that commit the world and Canada to further down the line? What is strange in this debate here in Canada is how little the leadership from any of the parties have brought up this doctrine, largely of our own making, and if they still believe in it, are not insisting on action in Libya every day in the House of Commons before Gaddafi slaughters thousands. Do we still believe in the doctrine as when we sold it, when we celebrated its adoption? Well, where is it now? Where was it in Darfur? Where in the Congo? Where in Zimbabwe? As with so much that comes out of the pious and sentimental wing of foreign policy, in essence, responsibility to protect is little more than a perfumed phrase. It has changed nothing, excited hope where hope perhaps was best left slumbering, and exists mainly as a grandstanding posture from impotent internationalists. For The National, I'm Rex Murphy.